What up? Alright, so we're in Paramount C, and we're just going to run over what we did for the BB session on the board. We have all of our mics out the live room over there, going into the tie lines, which are over here. So we went out to the mic ties, like the microphone out one, and then we brought it over to the Neve, and then to the CL1B, and then back into multi-track sends, which is Pro Tools. And then say for channel 3, notice how we have a mic plugged into channel 3. Let's go check out what's going on with that one. Oh, you know what, channel 3 actually, that's something totally different, because we're using the mic pre's on the board for all of the other mics. So I have a sheet that I made over here for each instrument, so you can see, okay, like we have piano left and right going into mic tie 21 and 22, and on the SSL that's normal to 21 and 22. So you go over to channel 21 and 22 on the SSL board, which hopefully you guys can see. 21 and 22. Alright, then we're in small fader mode. We have the mic in phantom power, and we have the gain up a little bit. You'll notice that the fader, large fader, is down. We labeled it piano. And we're on pre-LF right here. Pre-LF. And then of course the volume's up and we have it panned. Now the thing is we went up to the matrix and said it'd be 20. Let's see what we chose. Pro Tools. We chose Pro Tools 5 and 6. So that's bus 5 and 6. So then what we do is we go over to the patch bay over here, and we go group outputs, because that's basically the matrix outputs, I guess. And we go out 5 and 6, and then into multi-track sends 5 and 6. So Pro Tools receives what's coming out of the board in the same bus. So then we go over to Pro Tools, and I'm going to wait for the camera to understand what's going on in life. Okay, so we go over to Pro Tools, we set our inputs on the record track to Pro Tools input 5 and 6, bus 5 and 6, and then we are good to record. But we have the outputs going down a little bit differently. So for our piano, the outputs of Pro Tools are 31 and 32. You can see that. Kind of gonna wait that one out, so you guys can see it. And then the large fader is what we're hearing inside the studio, okay. And then up here are a few headphones outside when they're playing the piano. So basically, what this does is you can record on the small faders and get your levels of whatever the recording input is into Pro Tools, and that'll never be tampered with. If the producer inside wants to hear more of something, you just turn the large faders up of the output of Pro Tools on the board, of course. And if the person that's playing, the musician's playing in there, wants to hear more of something, you go to the channel output of the board, which channel output of Pro Tools, which is coming up on the board, and you go into the queue for them, their queue, like we're in fold back just A, so we're only using one headphone for everybody that's out there, and it's usually just one person at a time. But we go in there and say, she's like, oh, I need to hear the piano a little bit more and Pro Tools a little less. So we'll go to the Pro Tools out, which we have Pro Tools out 25 and 26 right now, and we'll go up to the queue of those channels, and we'll just turn down the foldback A queue. Aux. It's an aux, but like we'll turn down the queue a little bit, and then they should be able to hear less of like all the other crap going on and only hear more of the Pro Tools piano, or the piano that they're playing through Pro Tools. Or you can just go to the piano and then turn up the queue so they can hear a little bit more of that. Say they're playing piano and then the producer's like, hey, I want you to like cut the piano real quick so I can hear the instruments around. You just go to the large faders of the out, and then you just pull down the piano, and then the producer can hear everything else besides the piano, yet the pianist can still play. So I hope all of this made sense. Yeah, let me just double check something. Hang tight. On the SSL J series, your Q is right up here. So back, you just turn up the level. You got to uncut it because it's usually cut. And then stereo Q, and then you're in mix, or you're in your external, and if you're using external too, right there, and then you have all of your Qs on the auxes Q, and you're pretty much good to go. You also sometimes need to pan your Qs, like if you have a right and left signal, you want the right Q right and the left Q left. So that's just a little rundown of Paramount Studio C and what I've been doing for the BB session. Yesterday we tracked piano and strings along with some guitar. Kind of unexpected too. I was just assisting the session and it turned into me engineering because the amazing engineer had to go off and do other amazing engineer stuff. But yeah, hopefully today we get an engineer so I can kind of just kick back and study the board a little bit more. I'll have to teach him all of this just because he might not know exactly what the routing we've chosen to do. There's a little easier ways to go about doing some of this using small faders. I guess Tom, the tech here, told me that if we're just in the tape mode, we bypass having to go over to the patch bay and going group outputs into Pro Tools multitrack sends. I don't see what it hurts making the patch bay, look a little bit more used. It's kind of cool. Also, it's helping me understand further signal flow rather than just hitting a button and it magically gets there. So let's go into the mic room, or the live room, I should say, and show you guys a little bit what's going on over here. We have the Hammond, okay, and then we just mic'd up two C414s on the sides for the highs, and then we're actually, when we do use it, we're going to throw down like a FET 47 because that's good for low end. It's good on kick drums and for the outside of a kick drum, and it's also good for the low end of that Hammond Leslie amp. Cool thing about the Hammond is all those black keys over there are presets, so you push them down, and then like the top row, the first half, control the first half of that draw board. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just learned it the other day and it's pretty dope. Let's see what else. So this is basically our string station that we got going on right now, and we have the where the fuck is the mic? Hold up. There's the mic, U87. And we're just moving around that cue box right there quite a bit. What else? There's the piano. Right now we have a C414 and a U87 on the piano, and they're going into like, say, channels 3 and 4, and we're just recording them onto one stereo track because they're panned hard right and hard left. If the mixer, when they get all these stems, wants to split the piano right and left as if it were two mics, it's easy. They just have to split the channel right and left, and then they have two mono signals to work with. So listing that in comping, you don't have to comp like a drum set, like you would have your tom, your room mic, your overheads, your bottom snare, top snare, all that other crap. Just keep it kind of simple for all of this kind of stuff because they're not necessarily the focal points of the song. And either way, it's just like samples. You use one good kick drum, like it's gonna bang hard. But if you start stacking a bunch of them, it gets all weird and chorusy. And yeah, so we're just close miking pretty much everything. We got the where are we at with the amp down there? You can see. Okay, we got a 57, and we've been using like an 87 next to it, and kind of just doing the same thing, pan hard right, hard left. We got the C800 over here, which I doubt you can see, but yeah, there it is. And that's just going into the tie line 1 out of Pro Tools 1. We had a drum set over here. We took that out already. Yeah, and for the string section is kind of this cool little station for, we had harmonica the other day, then we had the strings there, we recorded some acoustic guitar there, just one overhead, or just, one mic a little far away so you can get some room ambience, and it's such a good mic, the 87, that like, you don't need to necessarily mic some pencil mics on the guitar board, the fretboard, or the violin fretboard. I don't know, you could do all of that, but for what we're doing, we just decided to use one mono signal. And with all the processing inside the box these days, or splitting channels, you know, you can go ahead and get a stereo signal very easily. But yeah, so I'm going to sign off. I hope that helps. I hope it helps me when I watch this again. See you guys later. Peace.